Welcome to Audiobook 365 Stories.
Tobin and I went to Coney Island one day. We had $4 between us, and Tobin needed something to cheer him up. His sweetheart, Katie Mariner, from County Sligo, was missing. She left for America 3 months ago with her own $200 and $100 from Tobin. The $100 came from selling his small house which he inherited. Tobin got a letter from Katie saying she was coming to him, but after that he heard nothing. He didn't know where she was. Tobin put notices in newspapers, but no one could find her. So we went to Coney Island. We thought the rides and the smell of popcorn might make Tobin feel better. But Tobin was very sad, and it stayed with him. He gritted his teeth at the balloons, cursed at the movies, and ignored the puppet shows. He drank when someone offered, but he even got angry at the photographers taking pictures. I pulled him away to a quieter area of the boardwalk where things were calmer. Tobin stopped in front of a small booth and looked interested for the first time. "This is where I'll have some fun," he said. "I'll let this palm reader look at my hand. She'll tell me what my future will be." Tobin believed in signs and strange things, like black cats, lucky numbers, and weather predictions in newspapers. We went into the small booth. It was decorated with red cloth and pictures of hands with lines on them. A sign above said, "Madame Zozo the Egyptian palmist." Inside, there was a fat woman wearing a red shirt with strange designs on it. Tobin gave her 10 cents and held out his hand. His hand was big and rough, like a working horse's hoof. The woman looked at his hand as if she expected to fix it. "Sir," she said, "the lines on your hand show." "It's my hand, not my foot," Tobin interrupted. "It's not pretty, but it's my hand you're holding. The lines show you've had bad luck," the woman said. "And there's more bad luck coming." "The Mount of Venus? Or is that a bruise?" "Shows you've been in love. Love has caused trouble in your life." "She's talking about Katie Mariner," Tobin whispered loudly to me. "I see," the palmist said. "A lot of sadness because of someone you can't forget. The lines on your hand point to the letter K and the letter M in her name. Did you hear that?" Tobin said to me excitedly. The woman continued, "Watch out for a dark-haired man and a light-haired woman. They will bring you trouble. You will take a trip across water very soon and lose some money. But there's one good thing. A man will come into your life and bring you good luck. You'll know him because he has a crooked nose." "Does the man's name appear in the lines?" Tobin asked. "It will help me greet him when he shows up with the good luck." "The name isn't clear," said the palmist, looking serious. "But the lines show it's a long name, and it has the letter O in it. That's all I can say. Good evening. Don't block the door. It's amazing what she knows," Tobin said as we walked to the pier. At the gate, a man accidentally touched Tobin's ear with his lit cigar. Tobin got angry, hit the man, and caused a scene. Women screamed, and I quickly pulled Tobin away before the police arrived. Tobin was always in a bad mood, even when trying to have fun. On the boat back, someone called out, "Who wants the good-looking waiter?" Tobin wanted a drink, but when he reached into his pocket, he found his money was gone. He must have lost it during the earlier trouble. So we sat on stools, dry and disappointed, while musicians played on the deck. Tobin looked even sadder than before. Near us, a young woman sat on a bench. She wore fancy clothes, as if she owned a red car. Her hair was light yellow like a new, clean pipe. As Tobin passed her, he accidentally kicked her foot. Being polite to ladies when he had been drinking, he tried to take off his hat to apologize, but the wind blew it into the water. Tobin sat back down, looking frustrated. I kept an eye on him because when he had too much bad luck, he often caused trouble. Suddenly, Tobin grabbed my arm. "John," he said, excited, "do you know what's happening? We're taking a trip on the water." "Yes," I said. "Calm down. The boat will land in 10 minutes. Look," he said, "at the light-haired woman on the bench. And remember the man who burned my ear with his cigar? And now, where's the $1.65 I had in my pocket?" I thought he was just listing his problems to make an excuse to get mad. I told him these things weren't a big deal. "Listen," Tobin said, "you don't understand the power of fortune-telling. What did the palmist say about my hand? It's all coming true." She said, "Watch out for a dark man and a light-haired woman. They'll bring trouble. Didn't that man with the cigar cause trouble? And who's lighter-haired than the blonde lady who made me lose my hat? And what happened to my $1.65? The way Tobin explained it, it really did sound like the palmist's prediction was coming true. But to me, it seemed like these things could happen to anyone at Coney Island, with or without fortune-telling. Tobin got up and started walking around the deck, looking closely at people with his small, red eyes. I asked him what he was doing. Tobin didn't usually explain his thoughts until he acted on them. "I'm looking for the man with the crooked nose," he said. "The palmist said he would bring me good luck. That's all I have left to hope for. John, have you ever seen a group of people with straighter noses than this crowd?" It was the 9:30 boat, and we landed soon after. We walked up 22nd Street, Tobin still without his hat. On a street corner, under a gaslight, a tall man was standing. He was dressed nicely and smoking a cigar. He looked up at the moon over the elevated train tracks. His nose was crooked, twisting like a snake from the bridge to the tip. Tobin saw him at the same time I did. He let out a hard breath, like a horse after you take off its saddle. He walked straight up to the man and I followed him. "Good evening," Tobin said. The man took the cigar out of his mouth and replied politely, "Can you tell us your name?" Tobin asked the man. "We'd like to know it. It might be important for us to meet you." "My name," said the man politely, "is Friedenhausman. Maximus G. Friedenhausman." "That name is long enough," said Tobin. "Does it have an O in it?" "No," said the man. "Can you add an O to it?" Tobin asked, looking worried. If it makes you happy, said the man with the crooked nose, you can imagine an O near the end of my name. That's good, said Tobin. You are now talking to John Malone and Daniel Tobin. Nice to meet you, said the man with a small bow. But why are you standing here talking to me? Do you have a reason for this meeting? Because, Tobin said, trying to explain, you are the man the fortune teller saw in my hand. She said you would bring me good luck to balance the bad things that already happened. There was the dark man, the blonde woman, and the loss of $1.65. All of it happened just as she said. The man stopped smoking and looked at me. Do you agree with what he's saying? The man asked me. Or are you just here to look after him? I agree, I said. You look just like the man of good luck the palmist described. If not, maybe she made a mistake reading the lines of his hand. There are two of you, the man said, looking around nervously, maybe hoping to see a policeman. It was nice meeting you both. Good night. He put his cigar back in his mouth and walked quickly across the street. But Tobin followed him on one side, and I stayed close on the other. Wait, the man said loudly when he reached the other side. He pushed his hat back and looked at us. Why are you following me? I've been polite, but now I want to go home. Leave me alone. Go ahead, said Tobin, leaning against the man's arm. Go home. I'll wait outside your door until you come out in the morning. I need you to fix the bad luck caused by the dark man, the blonde woman, and my lost $1.65. This is crazy, the man said, turning to me. Can't you take him home? He's not well. Listen, I said to the man. Daniel Tobin is thinking clearly, even if he has had a bit too much to drink. He's only acting this way because of his belief in fortune-telling and the trouble he's been through. Let me explain. I told the man about the palmist, her predictions, and how she pointed to him as the person who would bring good luck. Now let me make my position clear, I said. I am Tobin's friend. Being a friend to a rich man is easy because it's rewarding. Being a friend to a poor man is also easy because it makes you feel good. But being a friend to a fool, now that's hard. And that's what I'm doing. In my opinion, there's no such thing as fortune-telling. Whatever is in my hand was put there by hard work, like holding a pickaxe. And even though you have the most crooked nose in New York, I don't think any fortune-teller could find good luck in you. But Tobin believes in this, and the lines in his hand led him to you. So I'll help him until he's sure, one way or another. After that, the man suddenly started laughing. He leaned against a corner and laughed for a long time. Then he clapped Tobin and me on the back and took one of our arms each. My mistake, he said. I didn't expect to meet anyone so interesting and wonderful tonight. I almost wasn't ready for it. Nearby, he said, there's a nice cafe where we can talk. Let's go there and have a drink. He led us to the back room of a saloon, ordered drinks, and paid for them. He looked at Tobin and me like we were his brothers. We lit cigars and sat down. You should know, the man said, that I work as a writer. At night, I wander the streets looking for strange people and the truth in the stars above. When you found me, I was thinking about the elevated train and the moon. The train is like poetry and art. The moon is just a boring, dry rock moving in circles. But these are just my private thoughts. I hope to write a book about the strange things I've discovered in life. Will you put me in your book? Tobin asked, sounding annoyed. I won't, the man replied. You're too big for the pages. Not yet, anyway. For now, I will enjoy your company. But thank you, boys. I am truly grateful. Your talk, Tobin said, blowing through his mustache and hitting the table with his fist, is driving me mad. Your nose was supposed to bring good luck, but all you do is make noise like a drum. You talk about books like wind blowing through a crack. I would think the palm of my hand lied if it weren't for the dark man, the blonde woman, and... Wait, the man said. Don't lose hope because of my nose. It will do what it can. Let's have another drink. It's good to keep ideas well moistened, or they dry up. The man bought more drinks, as Tobin and I had no money left. He seemed cheerful and paid for everything. But Tobin was upset and drank quietly, his eyes red with anger. Later, we left the saloon, as it was 11 o'clock, and stood on the sidewalk. The man said he needed to go home and invited us to walk with him. We arrived at a quiet side street with brick houses. The man stopped in front of one and looked at the dark windows on the top floor. This is my house, he said. It looks like my wife has gone to bed, but I'd like to offer you some hospitality. Please come into the basement room where we eat. There's some cold chicken, cheese, and a couple of bottles of ale. You are welcome to share it. I owe you for the fun tonight. Tobin and I were happy to accept, though Tobin still felt that a few drinks and a cold meal weren't enough to be the good luck promised by his palm. Go down the steps, the man said. I'll enter through the upstairs door and let you in. I'll ask the new girl in the kitchen to make coffee for you before you leave. Her name is Katie Mariner. She's new, only here 3 months, but she makes fine coffee. Go ahead, he said. I'll send her down to you,